How's it going, guys? My name is Jimmy Champagne, and today I'm here with my top 5 horror movies of 2017. Now, there were a ton of great horror movies that came out this year, both indie and theatrical, so I worked really hard to whittle down my list of favorites to just 5 that include both indie and theatrical movies. So let's get started. Number 5, Better Watch Out. I'm a big fan of both Christmas movies and horror movies, so I like when they cross over, but as we both know, it's a genre that's hard to get right. All year long, I heard so many great things about Better Watch Out, so I was really excited back in October when a screener showed up in my inbox. I really don't want to spoil this one for you guys. Even the trailer footage in this video I selected based on the fact that it doesn't spoil the movie in any way. So do not watch any trailers before you rent this, just trust me on it. Levi Miller, Olivia DeJonge, and Ed Oxenbould all do great jobs in their respective roles, and it feels like a true theatrical movie despite its indie roots. You need to check this one out as soon as you can. Number 4, Pyewacket. When I started reviewing horror movies here on my channel about 6 months ago, one of the very first movies I reviewed was Adam McDonald's Backcountry. So naturally, when I heard he had a new movie called Pyewacket coming out about a girl who curses her mother to an early death by the hand of a witch, I was immediately on board. And unsurprisingly, McDonald delivered. Not only did he capture the feeling of being out in the woods on a cold fall night, but he also told a story about living with your mistakes, and I really appreciated that. The costume design was also probably the best of the year, and unfortunately, it's taking its sweet time to release here in the US, but I promise once it's out, it'll have been worth the wait. Number 3, Annabelle Creation. Now, I'm a huge fan of The Conjuring and The Conjuring 2. They're two of my favorite horror movies of all time. So I don't think I'm gonna make anybody upset when I say that Annabelle didn't really come close to the standard that those movies set. Annabelle Creation had a lot of mistakes to fix, and for a prequel to a prequel, I think it got almost everything right. Lulu Wilson's performance was easily one of my favorites of the year, and I love that David F. Sandberg never let me take a second to breathe. And even though not all the scares work, the vast majority do, and I think that deserves some recognition. There's a scene involving a scarecrow late in the film that legitimately gave me a nightmare, so hopefully if Annabelle returns, she'll be just as scary next time. Number 2, It. Now, I know if you're watching this video, you're probably not surprised to see It on here, but this was a movie that I really wasn't all that excited for leading up to its release. It seemed like it just had so many problems in production that I really didn't think it could turn out good. Well, I'm glad to say that I was wrong because it turned out to be my second favorite horror movie of the entire year. There's just so much I could talk about with It, but let's separate it from the fact that it's one of the highest grossing horror films of all time and talk about what I love most about it. The fact that it recognizes themes of love and friendship while also managing to remain a terrifying film, and it never gets cringy. Ever. Some of the digital effects weren't great, I will admit, but overall I think it modernized some of the more bizarre aspects of the original story in a positive way without changing the book fundamentally, and I can't wait for the modern day set part 2. Number 1, Mayhem. I saw Mayhem here in LA at Beyond Fest about halfway through October, and I came out of that screening knowing it was my favorite horror movie of 2017. If you take one look at this movie, it's very clear that it has a similar premise to The Belko Experiment, which is actually, I think, the first horror movie I reviewed on my channel, but I think it worked much better since they had a solid defense for the violence. A great cast combines with a great script and great editing, and the movie is, well, great. Stephen Yeun and Samara Weaving's chemistry is perfect, and probably the biggest reason this movie just works. I've watched it a few more times since I reviewed it, and every time I find something new in the movie. There's so much stuff going on in the background that you're pretty much guaranteed to find something new every time you watch it too. Basically what I'm getting at is it's one of those horror movies that gets better and better with each repeated viewing. I just love it. So there you have it, guys, my top 5 horror movies of 2017. I really hope you like this list of movies. I tried to make it as diverse as possible because I watched a ton of movies this year. So I'm sure this list is gonna differ from yours, so you should let me know your top 5 horror movies down in the comments below. If you just subscribed this year, I want to thank you a lot. I really took this channel in a new direction and you guys rewarded me for it big time. I have 1,000 subscribers now. Actually, I have 1,100 subscribers now, and that number is rising really fast. So if you're not subscribed already, you're gonna wanna do so because 2018, things are only gonna get better. But like I said, if you were here for all of 2017 with me, or even part of it, I just wanna say thank you. This is my last video of the year, obviously. I really thought it'd be a good way to wrap things up, but again, thank you so much for watching. I'm Jimmy Champagne, and I'll see you in the next one.